She wasn't just another face on a runway. She was a disruption. While the fashion world worshipped thinness and conformity, Monica Bellucci arrived like thunder, lush, unapologetic, and impossible to ignore. Before fashion's trends cycled in weeks and Hollywood's starlets faded in months, there stood an empress who didn't bend to the rules. She rewrote them. With a presence that could silence rooms and a gaze that made cameras fall in love, she turned sensuality into power. While others chased relevance, she became immortal. Her legacy isn't just lasting, it's the standard by which elegance and authenticity are still measured. This is the story of Monica Bellucci, the woman who defied two industries, reigned without compromise, and proved that true allure isn't crafted. It's born and utterly inimitable. Before the global campaigns, before the Bond girl mystique, before the world fell in love with her in slow motion, Monica Bellucci was simply a small-town girl from Umbria. Born on September 30th, 1964, in Città di Castello, Italy, Monica Anna Maria Bellucci grew up in a traditional household. Her father ran a trucking company. Her mother was a housewife. There was no family history of fame or fashion, just the olive groves and sun-soaked piazzas of central Italy. She was bookish, introverted, and dreamed not of flashing cameras, but of courtrooms. Monica enrolled in law school at the University of Perugia, planning to become a lawyer. Modeling? That was just a way to pay tuition. But the camera loved her, and soon, so did the world. She didn't chase the spotlight, it found her. And what began as a way to pay tuition would soon ignite a career that reshaped the very image of desire. By the late 1980s, Monica had dropped out of university to pursue modeling full-time. She signed with elite model management and moved to Milan, the epicenter of Italian fashion. There, her classical Mediterranean features, full lips, dark waves of hair, deep brown eyes, stood out against the icy blonde beauty standards of the era. In a world of Kate Moss minimalism and Linda Evangelista cool, Monica brought something elemental, almost primal. She was statuesque, soft, and unapologetically sensual. A woman who didn't bend herself to the mold, but let the mold reshape itself around her. She was compared to Sophia Loren and Gina Lollobrigida, but she had a stillness that made her more modern. She wasn't all smiles and sass. She smoldered. On the runway, she was hypnotic. In front of the camera, she was mythic. Yet even as the industry embraced her image, there were signs that Monica's classic femininity was quietly becoming a problem in a world moving toward waifish minimalism. Her early editorials with Italian Vogue and Photo magazine caught the attention of European designers. Dolce and Gabbana, in particular, saw in her the very essence of their brand: Southern Italian drama, romanticism, and danger. She became their muse. Domenico Dolce once remarked that Monica doesn't just wear clothes, she inhabits them with a presence that transforms fabric into fantasy. From there, she was booked by Dior, Fendi, and Chanel. She didn't just model clothes, she embodied them. Her face sold luxury not through distance, but through closeness, intimacy, heat. She became one of the highest paid models in Europe, not for being the most booked, but for being the most unforgettable. But in a world racing toward thinness and provocation, timeless beauty would soon find itself at odds with the industry's shifting tides. It wouldn't take long before fashion's love turned into ambivalence. Monica never fully embraced the fashion industry's obsession with youth, thinness, or controversy. She refused to starve herself. She didn't try to pass as androgynous. She represented womanhood at its most lush, maternal, and earthy. And for that, she faced quiet resistance. Behind the glamour, there was severe tension. Designers loved her, editors respected her, but gatekeepers in New York and London didn't quite know what to do with her. She was too curvy, too soft-spoken, too European for the minimalist wave taking over the 90s. She was celebrated and sidelined. She didn't fit the archetype dominating runways or the edgy persona magazines were selling. As fashion drifted towards starkness and irony, Monica's unapologetic sensuality felt out of step, too classical, too sincere, too evocative of an older kind of beauty. This created a natural pivot to cinema. Monica's acting debut came in the early 1990s. At first, she appeared in Italian films like La Riffa, but her breakthrough role came in 1996 in The Apartment, a French thriller that earned her a César nomination for Most Promising Actress. From there, her film career exploded. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Monica became an international star, working in French, Italian, English, and even Persian cinema. She moved seamlessly between art house films and global blockbusters, never allowing herself to be boxed in. She appeared in Malena in 2000, directed by Giuseppe Tornatore, a role that crystallized her as the symbol of Italian sensuality. Her portrayal of a lonely war widow in a conservative Sicilian town was both vulnerable and haunting, evoking sympathy and desire in equal measure. Tornatore later said, "Monica brought a wounded dignity to Malena that elevated the character beyond mere object of desire. She understood the tragedy beneath the beauty." In Irreversible, 2002, she took on one of the most emotionally and physically brutal roles of her career in a film that polarized critics but confirmed her as a fearless performer. Director Gaspar Noé praised her courage, noting that she approached the film's infamous 9-minute assault scene with unflinching commitment to artistic truth. The controversy surrounding the film, particularly its graphic violence and her commitment to the role, marked her as a serious actress willing to confront darkness without compromise. She became Persephone in The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, joining one of the most iconic sci-fi franchises of all time. The Wachowskis sought her out specifically, drawn to her otherworldly presence and ability to convey ancient wisdom with a mere glance. And in 2015, she became the oldest Bond girl in the franchise's history, starring opposite Daniel Craig in Spectre at age 50. Director Sam Mendes deliberately subverted expectations by casting her not as a conquest, but as a woman with her own agency and mystery. But Monica never considered herself a Bond girl. "I prefer to be called a Bond woman," she said, rejecting the infantilizing labels Hollywood often reserves for women. Because Monica Bellucci has never played by Hollywood's rules. She refused to move to Los Angeles, she never changed her accent, she didn't chase fame in the tabloids, and she never surgically altered her face to fit a mold. Instead, she stayed in Europe, living, loving, and working on her own terms. Her marriage to French actor Vincent Cassel was as high profile as it was enigmatic. They met on the set of L'Appartement in 1996 and became one of Europe's most glamorous couples, passionate, volatile, and deeply private. They married in 1999, had 2 daughters, and separated in 2013. Unlike many celebrity splits, theirs was remarkably graceful. "We are adults," she said. "We have children, we're friends." Through it all, roles, fame, love, and heartbreak, Monica remained in command of her narrative, proving that true power lies not in domination, but in quiet defiance. Throughout her life, Monica has walked the line between intimacy and mystery. She is open, but never overexposed. In interviews, she speaks with disarming honesty, but always holds something back. She speaks often about aging, without fear or shame. "Beauty becomes interesting when it's lived in," she once said. "It's not about perfection." She never chased youth. She embraced the fullness of womanhood. She posed for magazines in her 40s and 50s, celebrated for her curves, her sensuality, her refusal to disappear. In an industry obsessed with chasing what's next, Monica chose to inhabit the present. Even as new faces came and went, her image remained timeless, like a Renaissance painting come to life. But Monica Bellucci is more than an image. She's fluent in 4 languages. She's played historical queens, mythical figures, and mothers from every walk of life. She's collaborated with auteurs like Gaspar Noé, Mel Gibson, Spike Lee, and Terry Gilliam, and she's turned down more than she's accepted. She has said no to roles that felt reductive, to scripts that made women props or prey, to directors who valued exposure over expression. Monica's career has been a slow burn, not a rocket, but a constellation. And that's what makes her so enduring. She didn't ride trends, she transcended them. And in doing so, she became something rarer than famous. She became iconic. Her story continues, not as a relic of a golden era, but as a living symbol of power and unapologetic authenticity. Today, Monica Bellucci remains a fixture of European cinema. Her transformation into Maria Callas for the one-woman show Letters and Memoirs marked a bold new chapter in her artistic journey. Critics noted how she captured the diva's vulnerability without mimicry, finding the universal in the specific, a hallmark of Bellucci's approach to character. Her 2024 collaboration with director Tim Burton in Beetlejuice revealed yet another facet of her range as she stepped into the gothic world of Burton's imagination, playing Dolores, the glamorous wife of Michael Keaton's mischievous ghost. When asked about working with Burton, Bellucci expressed her joy. "I'm so happy and so honored to be part of this amazing cast and to enter into Tim's fantastic, poetic, magical world." This role introduced her to a new generation of viewers who discovered what cinephiles had known for decades. Bellucci possesses that rare ability to be both timeless and contemporary. The collaboration marked more than just a professional milestone. In June 2023, Bellucci confirmed her relationship with Burton to Elle France, saying, "What I can say, I'm glad I met the man, first of all. It's one of those encounters that rarely happens in life." Their romance blossomed after she presented him with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Lumière Film Festival in Lyon, France. The pair, who share a deep artistic connection, made their red carpet debut as a couple at the Rome Film Festival in October 2023. In the art world, her image has been immortalized by photographers from Richard Avedon to Peter Lindbergh. The latter once observed, "Monica doesn't try to be beautiful. She simply exists, and that existence itself is an act of beauty." Her face has become a reference point for contemporary artists, exploring themes of femininity, power, and classical beauty in modern contexts. Beyond acting, Monica has quietly supported causes close to her heart. She has worked with UNICEF and the DKMS Life charity, which supports women with cancer. During the COVID pandemic, she was vocal in her support of Italian healthcare workers, using her platform to raise funds for overwhelmed hospitals in her homeland. Despite her mystique and quiet philanthropy, Monica Bellucci has faced criticism for being too guarded, too image-driven, and too selective. Proof that even icons are not immune to scrutiny. Directors and collaborators have occasionally noted that she prefers to remain within her comfort zone, avoiding roles that demand emotional extremes or major physical transformations. Critics have also pointed out a tendency toward passive characters, suggesting that she sometimes leaned too heavily on her image rather than pushing her range as an actress. Her reluctance to embrace the more aggressive, promotional side of the industry, rare talk show appearances, few public stances on major issues, has been interpreted by some as a lack of ambition or political engagement. Yet others argue that this detachment is precisely what preserved her mystique and kept her from becoming just another overexposed celebrity. Despite these critics, she is still viewed as a muse, but now she's also a matriarch. Her daughters, Diva and Leonie, are growing up in the world she once conquered. But Monica hasn't pushed them into the spotlight. She's allowed them the childhood she never had. Though Diva has followed her mother into modeling, appearing in campaigns for Dolce and Gabbana, Monica has insisted on a measured approach to fame. "I want her to understand this industry before it consumes her," she has said. When asked what advice she gives them, she said simply, "Be yourself." It's the same advice she's lived by. She once said, "I'm not looking for perfection, because perfection is boring." And maybe that's the secret. In a world that demands polish and control, Monica Bellucci has always offered something softer, slower, and more human. She's never rushed her career. She's never reshaped her face. She's never begged for attention. She's the embodiment of La Dolce Vita, not as nostalgia but as a philosophy. A life lived with sensuality, substance, and silence where it matters. And that's why Monica Bellucci isn't just a fashion icon. She's a cultural artifact. Monica Bellucci's net worth is estimated at approximately $45 million. This figure reflects her extensive career as an actress and model. Her influence is visible in every model who embraces her natural curves, every actress who refuses to be cast aside after 40, every woman who dares to lead with softness instead of spectacle. Her influence echoes in modern models, like Emily Ratajkowski, Vittoria Chiretti, and Letitia Casta. Women who celebrate their curves, embrace sensuality without apology, and channel the same Mediterranean warmth and enigmatic presence that made Monica unforgettable. Actresses like Penelope Cruz and Sophia Loren have explicitly cited her as an inspiration, not just for her beauty, but for her career choices and her refusal to be defined by Hollywood's narrow parameters. She opened the door for a generation of Mediterranean and non-Anglo women to be seen not just as exotic, but as central to the narrative. When Monica Bellucci entered the frame, she didn't just command attention, she changed its direction. The fashion world and Hollywood still agree on this. This is Monica Bellucci, not just a face, not just a fantasy. A woman who turned her own myth into a legacy.